Hello, Canucks fans, and welcome back to the episode of Canucks Conversation brought to you by Bet365. We're coming to you from the Pacific Toyota Dealers Studio. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. My name is Dave Guidrelli. I am joined by Harmon Dial. It's a family feud Thursday. We are hunting for a win. Now, what did we land on last week, Jacob? Technical producer Jacob Lazar. Because I wasn't here last week for Family Feud. Jeff lost with Harmon. And I came on and we did an impromptu feud at the end. I hadn't watched it. I didn't know any of the answers. And we narrowly won, but we still won. So like that
doesn't count.
That does not count.
Come on.
I have you guys coming into the week at 9-8, which is the record with the loss from Harmon and Jeff. I'm gonna jump the shark a little bit here. You guys will not lose this week. I gave you the easiest.
Why do you even say
that's
that?
worse? Now you're adding the pressure.
Easiest survey we might have ever had. The difficulty is Vancouver Canucks, by the way. So
no, it's not. S. Little Boston says it's the Islanders.
No, it's the Vancouver Canucks. The questions might seem difficult to some people. The way the data goes, like all the number ones basically win it for you.
Okay, and what if we miss? Anyways,
you're
whatever.
not gonna miss. You're not gonna miss.
Why you even put that out there? Why even put that out there, Jacob? No need, man. No need. Why are you putting that evil on us? All right, our chat's bumping early. Jacob's talking early. If you want to make sure your question or comment gets on the show, hit us with a super chat. Proceeds from our super chat go to the BC Mental Health Foundation, changing the face of mental health and addiction by spreading breakthroughs in care, public understanding, research, and knowledge exchange. It's been a really big week for super chats. We've had a lot of super chats today, or not today, excuse me, this week. We had a lot of super chats. All right, Canucks, Ducks. I want to say this first. Tonight is the Botchford Project night. There's 3 people that are going to be at the game tonight through the Botchford Project initiative, honoring Jason Botchford's legacy. I say this every year. I was one of the people that benefited from that initiative, got to make some connections in the industry. It means a lot to me. I love that it's still happening and that really it's 7 years. It's been 7 years. Jacob, I'm going to text you a photo to pull up on the screen. And for those on the podcast, if you Google my name, you will find the photo for my Botchford Project night when I was 19 years old and was in Rogers Arena for the first time in the press box. It was a throwback. And honestly, it made me feel a little old today when I heard everybody talking about how this was the 7th year, because I was the first recipient of it back in November. I think it was like the 16th, November 16th, 2019, Canucks Avalanche. And it means a lot to me. I'm glad it's still happening. I never go to morning skates, but I went to today's morning skate to meet the 3 people and got to talk to them, got to offer some advice real quick and just give a quick little, how do you do? Send me a message, all sorts of stuff like that. It was great to meet them. But yeah, 7 years ago, my Botchford Project night.
Yeah, time flies by pretty quickly. The funny thing too is I bet if you bring the photo up, because I think I know which one you're talking about, you basically look the same outside of, I think, wearing glasses in that photo. I don't think you've aged since that pic at all.
Well,
I mean, you look the same except just with glasses.
I would argue that I don't look the same. I think I'm a little, not for back of a better word, I'm a little thicker now, quite a bit.
Sure,
thicker,
facially at least.
I'm 105 pounds in that photo. Just to be clear,
you're joking.
I'm dead serious. I've told this
105.
105. The jacket's doing a lot of work there, but look at my neck.
Yeah, okay, that's wild. I did not know you were 105 pounds in that photo.
Dude, I've told this story so many times. No, we're starting off the rails already, but I've told this story so many times. When the pandemic hit, and maybe longtime listeners of Convo know this because I was documenting it and talking about it on the show, but when the pandemic hit, I was like, all right, this is a great opportunity for me to eat a ton of calories, work out at home. And I think I've told you this story as well. I went from like, and 105 maybe is a little generous for that photo. I was maybe 110. The point is, I got to like 140 and now I'm like 150, but that's, that's like my base. That's like my base level now.
That's insane because I thought I was really, really skinny in high school and got into lifting because I was like, man, I'm like a $145, 150. I feel tiny. Dude. I did not know you were down all the way at 105, 110 though. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I was really, if you see photos of me, like, oh man, photos of me in high school, like I was a thin guy. I'm still, I'm not fat now, but like I've worked out and done a bunch of training and eating so that I don't look like that anymore. But
So, Quad, besides you being more muscular, is it crazy to think that you are now the boss of one of the people in this photo?
okay, no need to take shots at Jeff.
I'm not trying to shot at Jeff. It
is funny. We have had that conversation actually. Yeah, no, that honestly, like that night meant so much to me. So yeah, I'm glad it's still going on. Hip Hop Jesus in the chat said my left leg is 150. Well done. That's good. All right, let's get to it. Canucks Ducks in town tonight. This segment is brought to you by our friends at Pacific Blue Cross. Win the ultimate Canucks road trip. Get Pacific Blue Cross travel insurance for your chance to see the Canucks on the road, complete with flights, hotel, lower bowl tickets, and more. No purchase necessary. The contest ends February 28th, 2026. Open to residents of BC only. Enter now at pacificbluecross.ca/Canucks. Harm, the Anaheim Ducks in town. Remember not that long ago we were talking about, the great start that the Anaheim Ducks had, that's over. They've lost 10 straight. They're going to miss the playoffs. Hey, them Ducks, they're sticking around in the battle of mid in the Pacific Division and in the Western Conference as a whole. 7-3 in their last 10 last time I checked. I don't think they played last night, right? Hold on. Let me make sure I'm still right about them being 7-3 in their last 10. Yes, 7-3 in their last 10, coming off a loss, but the Anaheim Ducks are establishing themselves as a good team again.
Yeah, and I think the most surprising part about it, and you referenced them getting back on track, they've won 7 of their last eight games. It's that they've done it with no Leo Carlsson, right? It wasn't just that the Ducks were sliding out, and I think they had a stretch where they'd lost 8 of 10 or maybe even 9 of 10 and had slid out of a playoff spot, but then Leo Carlsson got injured. And if you go back to the start of the year when the Ducks got off to the scorching hot start, it was Carlsson driving the bus for them offensively. He was right up there with Macklin Celebrini and Connor Bedard when it came to the top 5 point getters in the league at one point. The difference is that even before Carlsson got hurt, around the time that the Ducks were really struggling, Carlsson and Gauthier started drying up offensively, and I think teams started to figure out how the Ducks were creating so much offense and had learned how to game plan against it, right? Because at the start of the season, it was, all right, the Ducks, new head coach in Joel Quenneville, completely different playing style compared to last year under Greg Cronin, and so you had no playbook on the Ducks. You had no idea what was coming, whereas now every team knows what to expect from the Ducks, and they figured out, all right, this is a high-flying team that pushes its chips into the middle of the table. They want to go off the rush so fast, so skilled. And I think teams started to adapt, and specifically with Carlsson as well, he started slumping right before getting hurt. And so the recipe was right there where you're thinking teams have figured the Ducks out. Their star centerman gets hurt, and also no Mason McTavish recently, and Troy Terry, who I believe Joel Quenneville yesterday said has a chance of drawing back in against the Canucks, but not just Carlsson, but a couple of your other really important top 6 players as well. They had every reason to fold, and yet they've been resilient in this stretch. I think it's helped to have Lucas Dostal bounce back, because that was another part of the story behind why the Ducks started slumping. Was we know the Ducks are a mess in their own end, but Dostal has been a top 10 goaltender in the league for a while. And then the issue is he got hurt. And then when he came back from injury, he was mightily struggling. And you add a porous defensive environment with not being able to get saves and an offensive system that opponents have seemingly started to figure out. And that's why they went off the rails. But credit to them, they've been able to figure it out, which is at least somewhat surprising, because you look at their center situation down the center situation right now, and down the middle they've got Granlund, Ryan Poehling, Jansen Harkins, and Tim Wash, because of no Carlsson and no McTavish.
Who the hell is Tim Wash?
I'll be honest, I'd never heard of him before I saw the Ducks lines.
No update on Troy Terry, by the way. I was checking in on that today. No update on Troy Terry from Joel Quenneville. Don't believe the Ducks skated today, did they?
You were Jacob, the one that skate.
Yeah, I know. But Jacob, you were about to jump in.
Tim Wash, former Nanaimo Clipper in the BCHL. I looked him up. I didn't recognize him, and he was in the league when I was working there. So Even I didn't recognize him. And then played with Max Sassone at Western Michigan University. So there you go.
All right, so Troy Terry, we don't have an update on it. Doesn't look like Troy Terry's gonna draw in tonight. In goal, Tolopilo starts. This was always gonna be a Tolopilo start. The last game probably should have been a Tolopilo start. He obviously comes in relief of Kevin Lankinen. You hope Tolopilo has a big game. At least I do, because that save percentage bet that you and I got going on with him and Askarov. Lucas Dostal expected for Anaheim. I don't have much else on the game. The Canucks line rushes today. It was supposed to be an optional skate. I was there, actually. But there's absences because I think Hronek's going to be a game. Yeah, Hronek's probable, but he was sick. If you recall, yesterday we were talking about that. Hronek's out with an illness. He's probable tonight, but he didn't take morning skate. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I was talking a lot this morning. I'm going to be honest with you. I was just talking a lot this morning.
One of the big takeaways is that it looks like Filipino's going to get a look on the wing, which isn't entirely surprising. I remember when we were discussing Heedle's return to the lineup, how I thought maybe they'll give him an opportunity on the wing, because now on your zone entries, you're able to take the outside lane where you're maybe a little less likely to get blown up by a devastating hit in the neutral zone. The other interesting part is I listened to Adam Foote's availability. I wasn't at skate, but listened to the scrum. Foote mentioned that Heedle wanted to try playing the wing. So this isn't a situation where sometimes players really want to play the center ice position. I think about Lucas Reichel, for example. When he was in Chicago, drafted as a natural center, he was at his best on the wing. And yet when that trade happened, I reached out to a couple of Blackhawks writers who covered the team day in and day out, and they said, even though Reichel's been at his best on the wing, he really prefers playing down the middle. And so sometimes for a natural center to shift to the wing, it goes against the player's desires and wishes sometimes. But in this case, I found it interesting that Heedle is fully on board with the idea and wants to give it a roll of the dice. I think there are, of course, going to be differences where since he's returned, I actually think he's been, I don't want to say hesitant, but we haven't seen him flying through the neutral zone with those middle lane entries as much, maybe trying to alter his playing style a little bit to minimize the vulnerable spots that he puts him into. So again, moving to the wing, I'm curious if we see him get back to driving more zone entries. And then the other part of it too is, look, it's usually easier playing wing than it is center because there are less defensive responsibilities in terms of, having to always stay above the puck as a center and a lot of F3 situations in all three zones. And usually you're the first man back in the D zone and you're, defending really deep in there. On the wing, though, you're going to have to get used to the board and wall work. Defensive zone, there are going to be a lot of situations where defenseman's under pressure, quick pass to Heedle on the wing, on the defensive zone sideboards, and you're going to be in a situation where you've got to make a quick play. There's maybe a pinching defenseman on you. It's got to be a bang read and decision to maybe make a one-touch pass to clear it out of the zone if you're tired and want to get off. On a change, the decision under pressure in the defensive zone with those touches is going to be different, right? Those reads are something he's going to have to adapt to, and also just being stronger in your stick. I don't know how much experience Heedle has in those board battle type scenarios. They're really training when you've got a defenseman battling for you and you're trying to move the puck out. And then from an offensive perspective, to have success as a winger in today's NHL and to be really dynamic, one trait I've been noticing is understanding the right timing and opportunities to take pucks off the wall and into the middle, whether it's with a pass, whether it's with your own skating ability. That's what separates wingers who are able to produce at a top 6 level in the NHL versus the ones that honestly don't put up a lot of points. Is in the offensive zone off the cycle, for example, there are situations where we might get the puck along the boards, and then the simple high percentage play might be to just cycle it back down low. A lot of the lower skilled, like bottom 6 guys will resort to that. The issue is the puck only stays on the perimeter. And so you're not able to get looks on the inside. And I think the skilled top 6 wingers are able to find opportunities to find a lane and cut into the middle, into that high slot area, which is risky because if you if you attempt that move, there's going to be defensive pressure there, and it could lead to a turnover. But those are the differences between guys who can really pile up points. It's either using your skating to do it or using your playmaking and passing to find those seams in the middle.
When you were saying all that, you know what my natural question was, Harm? My natural follow-up is, why not try that with Max Sasson then? Right? Like, why not try Max Sasson back on the wing? And Kayla Chapman said the exact same thing in the chat. Max Sasson, a healthy scratch tonight. So that's going to be an interesting one to follow. Just quickly, let me rattle off these Canucks lines because there are a few changes. You've got Kane back in the top six with Elias Pettersson and Connor Garland. So no Jonathan Lekkerimäki on that line anymore. Hedl on the wing with David Kampf and Linus Karlsson. Sasson out. Drew O'Connor with Aatu Ratu and Jake DeBrusk. And then this one, the fourth line. I was going to say this. If you're not going to have Jonathan Lekkerimäki playing in the top six, have him playing with Liam Öhgren. I've been saying this for a while. I would like Elias Pettersson to be the center, but instead it's going to be Teddy Bluger tonight between Liam Öhgren and Jonathan Lekkerimäki. Tyson Cole over at CanucksArmy.com wrote a really good piece, talked to both Lekkerimäki and Liam Öhgren about their friendship, their path up together as teenagers when they were both with Djurgårdens and U16. It goes back to they played a lot together, and Öhgren talked about the great chemistry that they have together. So look, as soon as this trade happened, that was one of the first things I said was like, oh, I can't wait to watch these two play together. Tonight's your first chance to see that.
Yeah, and I wouldn't freak out at all about seeing J-Pat's lines posted where technically Lekkerimäki's on the fourth line, because Adam Foote's really just been rolling his lines pretty evenly. You've got the Pettersson line, which is a quote unquote, which is more like a second line. And then you've got 3 third lines. That's how this, or 3 fourth lines, however you want to think about it. The point being, there's the Pettersson line, and then all the other ones are relatively the same in terms of talent and probable ice time. And especially because Bluger's the centerman in between them, Adam Foote has a lot of trust in Teddy Bluger, so I expect Lekkerimäki to still get a significant chunk of minutes. I don't anticipate him playing 10, 11 minutes against the Ducks tonight. And I am interested to see what kind of deployment that trio gets in terms of zone starts, because Foote has often used Bluger in tough sort of matchups and some D zone start situations. I imagine the task now is different since he has a couple of young, inexperienced wingers on his line. And for Lekkerimäki, it's great to see him get that shot with Öhgren, but also when you're playing with Teddy Bluger, this is different from last game when he was on a line with Filipino, where your centerman is very different stylistically. And I think that shifts the responsibilities for Lekkerimäki on that line, where when you're playing with Filipino, Hedl's also a dynamic player and can carry the puck through the neutral zone, likes to hold on to it, likes to make plays. So there's less of a play driving burden when you're on a line with Filipino. Whereas when you're playing with Teddy Bluger, Bluger can take care of a lot of the defensive zone positioning, and he's going to be in the right spots. He can sort of be a safety blanket for you in that way, but you can't rely on him to be driving play offensively. You can't be reliant on him to carry pucks up the ice. To me, I want to see Lekkerimäki be more active as a puck transporter, hold on to it, make plays, and understand that Bluger is at his best. Like Bluger's job is to kind of support that line defensively, and from an offensive standpoint, when that line has puck possession, he's going to try and get open and be in the right spots. That means I'd like to see Lekkerimäki be more involved as a playmaker and understand that between Bluger and even Öhgren, there isn't a natural setup guy on that line. So you have to do more of the heavy lifting in terms of making plays.
Yeah, it's going to be a line I'm watching really close tonight. And you make a good point about the ice time and them rolling all of their lines. All right. Anything else on tonight's game that you'd like to chat about?
I don't think so. I mean, this doesn't really matter because wins and losses aren't of the utmost interest for the Canucks, but at least from a looking competitive and ensuring this. Well, one specific thing, I want to see the F3, especially against a Ducks team that just sends guys up the ice and is so quick transitioning from defense to offense. F3 for the Canucks has to stay above the puck as much as possible. That's an area where they've slipped a lot lately. You have guys just diving in recklessly, and it's leading to a lot of odd man rushes against. If you want to look, even have a baseline level of structure against the Ducks, you're going to need to make sure that on the forecheck and just situations where you don't have the puck in general, that your F3 is stationed in the right spots. Because otherwise, if you get caught with too many of your forwards deep, the Ducks are just going to have a field day, generating rush chance after rush chance, and you just can't have too many performances like the one we saw against the Sharks, where it was almost a no-show with how little resistance they put up against San Jose.
Can I give you a quick take? Maybe it's not a hot take. You can't have more of those and not make a coaching change. Do you agree?
Well,
you can't have 10 more of those. I'm putting it at 10. You can't have 10 more of those. I think they might have 4 more
that's
of
fair.
those.
I was gonna say it depends on how many, because you're not gonna avoid over the next 29 games. You're not gonna expect to not have what happened against San Jose occur at least a few times. It's just you don't want it happening every other game.
No, this is I think there's a point where young defensemen, which is, we said it yesterday, those are the prospects that really matter for this team right now, because the other guys aren't even with the team yet, like your forward prospects, other than like Lecker-Mackey. But anyways, if your important prospects are on defense, have an environment where they can excel defensively and not have to feel like they're catching up. Like, we've seen the vets struggle in this system, and it doesn't look like anything's changing. So something's got to change is all I'm going to say. And I think you can only go on with this for so much longer. I wonder about that Olympic break. I just wonder about it. I don't know. It just seems like a natural, bringing in a new coach.
That's a little early for me. Again,
it's not, dude. They've got 30-second locked up. You're overreacting.
You can't. They're most probable to end up in that scenario, but I'm not taking any chances, man. you only get 1 year where you're like I think there is zero pushback to the idea of them tanking this year.
Yeah.
Right. There's nobody. You have the president of the team coming out and saying, yeah, we want a high draft pick. How many times does that happen?
Yeah, sure.
And how many times have we heard reports in previous years about ownerships put a major emphasis on finishing the season strong? Once that is off the table, you got to take advantage of this opportunity and make sure you finish 32nd. And again, I'm just worried about a team like the Rangers completely falling off the wagon, especially after they trade Panarin. And or the Flames or St. Louis and anybody going on the kind of losing streak that the Canucks did, right? Because sure, right now it looks like the Canucks have a cushion, but just a month ago, it looked like the Jets were 6 points back of the Canucks. So we've seen how quickly the picture can change. Even 8 weeks ago, roughly 8 weeks ago, the Predators were 32nd, and we've seen how quickly that changed. Now the Canucks have less talent than the Predators do, and so I don't think even with the coaching change you're as likely to go on that kind of run. But I want 32nd locked up before I'm making a change. I don't want to take any chances.
I was gonna save it for anyone else, but like you said, once the Rangers trade Panarin. Buddy, the Rangers are sitting Panarin until they trade him. That came out yesterday. Panarin was a healthy scratch, and he's going to be at least until the Olympic break, is the reports that we saw. And it could be after that if no trade materializes. But they are protecting that asset, and they're not going to dress him. So Rangers 2-8 in their last 10 games. So we'll see how that one goes. And then the other just quick tidbit I had was Nazem Kadri, according to David Pagnotta, informing the Flames that he's open to being traded. So the Flames could get worse.
This is my point, right? They traded away Rasmus Anderson, and then if they also trade Kadri and Coleman, and then sometimes guys shut players down who've been playing through an injury. So that could be another sort of thing, or even you look at the Blues, who are 31st right now, and you look at the cushion and say 8 points. That seems like a lot. The Blues have a minus 53 goal differential. The Canucks goal differential is minus 55. They're not that much worse than the Canucks. And we've heard names like Jordan Kyrou, Justin Falk, even Robert Thomas on various trade boards for insiders. So that's a team that could end up being a pretty heavy seller. I don't know, man. I even again, I would wait until I feel more confident about 30-second before pulling the trigger on it.
All I'm pointing out is that I think it's a fine line before young defensemen start to have their ceilings lowered. Just flat out.
I understand that. I would maybe. I think you can revisit this conversation with maybe a month left in the season.
Okay, sure, that's fair. All right, let's go to. Oh yeah, Family Feud. We're gonna play Family Feud, but before that, I want to tell everybody about the collaboration between Hurley and Levelware. All right. Hurley brings that laid-back board sports energy, and the collection pulls inspiration from Hawaiian and coastal prints, relaxed, expressive, and rooted in lifestyle. Levelware takes that inspiration and brings it to life through performance-driven, sustainably made apparel that's actually built to move and play. The result is the Fairwaves collection, modern golf silhouettes that feel lighter, more wearable, and less rigid. It's respectful to the game's roots, but definitely not stuck in tradition. The collection is live and available on Levelware's website to shop. Go to levelware.com, check out the polos, hoodies, and casual wear. Lots of good stuff over at Levelware. I need me one of these. All right, just before Family Feud, Greta's hosting a Super Bowl party. You should head on down Sunday, February 8th. They're going to have giveaways, prizes, and more for the big game. Make your reservation today. 50 West Cordova Street is the address. Let the games begin. All right, technical producer Jacob Lazar, take it away.
All right, guys, we teased it a little earlier. This is the easiest feud of the season, and I'm not afraid to say it. This is a Vancouver Canucks difficulty Family Feud. I think when I went through, all the number ones gets you to like 176. So you can almost win it alone with all the number ones. And Harmon, if I had to wager, I think you're going to get all the number ones. I'm sorry, Quad. You're not happy. You're not happy about it, but it's true. It's the reality. All right. For those of you who are new, we're gonna play Family Feud Fast Money. Harmon's gonna go first. He will have 25 seconds on the clock. His time will begin when I finish reading the first question. Harm, if you can't think of a response, say pass. We will come back to it at the end if we have time. Quads, have you disconnected those AirPods?
No, I will. Nope. No, I will now.
All right. While we wait for Quads, new survey probably tomorrow. Thank you to everyone who filled it out. We were short on survey responses, and then you guys came guns a-blazing yesterday, got us to 100. So thank you to everyone who filled out the survey.
If we lose this one, we might need to switch up the order as well. We're gonna have to change something because
guys, if you
can't
lose
drop this one,
if you lose this one, I think you're both getting sent to the minors on a conditioning stint. Tyson Cole and I will play next week. Like we're hitting the panic button if you guys lose this one.
All right.
Quads is disconnected. Harm, are you ready to go?
Yeah.
Which top 5 ranked national teams, so the 4 nations teams and Czechia, will not play for a medal at the Olympics?
Finland.
How many 5-on-5 goals will Jake DeBrusk score this season?
5.
Other than the Canucks, name an NHL team not currently in a playoff spot that needs a rebuild.
Rangers.
Who will be the next GM of the Vancouver Canucks?
Ryan Johnson.
In the 2035-36 NHL season, how many teams will be in the league?
34.
Look at that. Time to spare. And I think you got all the number ones.
How'd it go?
I think it went all right. Yeah.
So remember how I said I think Harmon's going to get all the number 1 answers?
Yeah.
Guess what Harmon just went out and did?
Okay, so that's 200 points. Did he get 200 points on his own?
No, I told you if you were listening. I think what did I say? 174? 174. He's at 174 with all the number 1 answers.
Yeah, and then all the number 2 answers are worth 3.
No, I can tell you right now. 29, 25, 10, 19, 20 are your number 2s.
Okay,
you just
so
need
I
2
only
of
need
those.
like what? Okay.
You'll need 2 of them.
All right, I'm ready. Let's go.
All right, Quads, you're going to have 30 seconds on the clock. Your time will begin when I finish reading the first question.
I feel good about this.
If you can't think of a response, say pass. We will come back to it at the end. If you give one of Harmon's answers, you will hear the buzzer, and I will ask you to try again. You ready to go?
Freaking buzzer. All right, let's go.
Which top 5 ranked national team, so the 4 nations, countries, and Czechia, will not play for a medal at the Olympics? Try again.
Czechia.
How many 5-on-5 goals will Jake DeBrusk score this season?
5.
Try again.
6.
Other than the Canucks, name an NHL team not in a playoff spot that needs to rebuild.
Rangers.
Try again.
Frick! Leafs.
Who will be the next GM of the Vancouver Canucks?
Ryan Johnson.
Try again.
Said that. Skip. Pass.
In the 2035-36 season, how many teams will be in the league?
34. I don't know.
Try again.
32.
Sure.
Damn it. I can buzz every answer.
Yeah, I told you the number ones are easy, and Harmon got all of them.
Okay.
Honestly, good poll last minute on calling the Leafs as a rebuild. Although, because that's been the talk recently, although I'm curious if the survey data reflects that. And also good on you for skipping the GM one, because other than RJ, I don't know who I would have said.
So the good news, you guys won. Like Czechia won it for you, Quads. That's 29 points. That was the best number 2 answer. So we'll go through all of them, but there you go. I told you it was going to be an easy one, and I'm
sweating, Jacob. I'm sweating, man.
So you guys got the win. Czechia was number 2. Finland, obviously, number 1. Sweden, number 3. US, number 4. Canada at number 5. I don't know. I like the Czechs. They're my dark horse bronze medal team, but I think Czechia and Finland. But Sweden, with all their injuries, man, they could be an upset waiting to happen at the Olympics. So, how many 5-on-5 goals will Jake DeBrusk score this season? Obviously, he's been potting on most of his goals on the power play. I think he's got 2 5-on-5 goals now. Number 5 was the number 1 answer. 6 was the number 3 answer. Quads. We're at 17 points there. Number 2 answer was 4. I think he's going to get more than 4 5-on-5 goals. Like, come on, it's Jake DeBrusk. He's streaky. He'll find a rebound or have a puck bounce off of his shin pad. Like, he'll end up with more than 3 or 4 goals. Okay, other than the Canucks, name an NHL team not in a playoff spot that needs to rebuild. Leafs were the number 2 answer. 19 points.
Done.
Nice. Wow.
Obviously, the Rangers were at number 1. The Flames number 3. Predators at number 4, and the Blues at number 5.
All good answers. Yep.
All good answers. Yep. Who will be the next GM of the Vancouver Canucks? Ryan Johnson, number 1 answer. I knew that both of you guys were going to say that.
Was Dale Talon number 2?
No, one person said Dale Talon.
Okay. Did Mike Gillis get any votes?
Mike Gillis got 2 or 3 votes. Yeah.
Okay.
I will say the person that put Dale Talon in also did like the sick face emoji next to it. So
that's funny.
Yeah. Any thoughts on who the number 2 answer is?
Cam Lawrence.
No
idea.
Currently an executive with another NHL team, but not
Lawrence
a GM.
Gilman.
No, but Lawrence Gilman on the list at number 4.
Eric Tulsky?
Not Eric Tulsky.
Oh, not a GM, you said.
Yeah. They were a part of the Canucks 2011 team. Roberto Luongo, the number 2 answer.
Good one.
Number 3 answer was either of the Sedins. As you said, number 4 was Lawrence Gilman. Tied for 4 was Trevor Linden. I don't think that's happening. And then the number 6 answer. You guys ready for the number 6 answer? Worth 5 points. Yeah. Was David Quadrelli.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, man. If I had said myself, that would have been crazy.
Harm, you got a couple votes in there as well, by the way. I think the people who said Harm were probably being serious. I think the people that said Quads were just doing it for the bit. Let's be honest.
The hell is that supposed to be?
Some other names on there. Mark Bergevin. Oh, I sure hope not. Emily Castonguay got a few votes. Bill Zito. I don't know why Bill Zito would leave Florida to come to Vancouver.
I want a new challenge.
Yeah, maybe. And Ken Holland, another one where it's like, ooh, let's hope not.
The funniest one of them all, I think, is Trevor Linden after he was president. He was president and left in the way that he did, which wasn't the amicable departure that the organization framed it as. Imagining him coming back to be GM of this team is just hilarious.
He got his wish. They're rebuilding now. That's what it was over, right? He wanted to rebuild. They didn't want to, so they left, right? Now they're rebuilding. There you go.
Also a vote in there for Brian Burke. I don't think that one's happening either. All right. In the 2035-36 NHL season, how many teams will there be? 34 was the number one answer. Or sorry, I got to actually put quads. Quads skip that last one just for his point total. 34 is the number one answer. Quads, you went down to 32. No expansion. 18 points. That was the number 3 answer. Number 2 answer was all the way up to 36. If the league adds 4 teams in 10 years, the quality is going to be so diluted. Everyone's going to hate it, but more money for ownership across the league. So it's certainly a possibility. You guys finished with 257 points. Quads, even with a missed answer, you got to 83 with no number ones, and you were worried that you guys weren't going to get there. So
good job, buddy.
Good work.
Thanks, boys. In my mind, that's 2 good weeks of Family Feud for me. So I also think I might want to start going first again. Second sucks. Second is so hard, but we just won, so we're not changing a thing. We're not changing a thing. We just won, so we'll keep it how it is. All right. We got a super chat here from Spatzilly. He said, "We know JPat likens himself as a player to Suter. What player do you each consider yourself like in profile / style?" Now, what is this referring to in terms of like how we are off the ice or like how we are as players? Because I'm an accidental power forward.
I think it was how when it was Spatzilly who asked that to Jeff like earlier in the year on a rink wide. And I think it was like, when you play hockey, what player were you like? And Jeff said like a Suter, not the best skater, but smart, always in the right position, you know, kind of able to play up and down the lineup, versatile. And
I'd probably say Pavel Datsyuk for myself.
Does Datsyuk not know how to stop or?
No. Other than that part, I make nice passes. I like to make nice passes.
I'd say probably, well, I mostly play ball hockey these days, but probably more of like a Brandon Hagel type. I'm just fast, forechecker, really good defensively, score goals by going in front of the net, just work hard. Put me with a skill. I'm also somewhere between like I guess somewhere between like a Hagel and a Hyman, because I do the like hard work, but also if you get me a skilled setup guy, I'm really good at just getting open at the front of the net and just like burying all the backdoor tap-ins.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm good at winning inside position. So
now I mentioned this on the show yesterday because I made the comparison where Askarov looked like I do when I play and I'm all over the place. But when I was actually younger and playing, I always compared myself to Dominic Hasek because I loved doing like the crazy flying poke checks where I'd come screaming out of my crease and sliding and flipping guys over me up at the hash marks on breakaways. Did it all the time. And it's because I loved watching Dominic Hasek do it when I was a kid. So we'll say Dominic Hasek for me.
Carl in the chat said, Quad's like Henrik Sedin. Thinks pass first. I'm like Henrik Sedin. I'm like Pavel Datsyuk. If neither of those guys had ever really played hockey that much in their lives. But that's
actually, you know what?
Eating update is coming tomorrow. I'm telling you, remember I told you, I'm going to stop. I'm going to figure it out. Like tomorrow's the day. I'm going to figure it out. You're going to get the skating update. You're going to get a video of me stopping because I got really, really close at the end. Well, I was stopping, just not like super great, but I will tomorrow. Like tomorrow's the day. I'm like putting it out there. I'm just like, if I keep saying that it's going to happen and I've already said like I have to talk about it on the show tomorrow and there has to be a video of it, I'm forcing myself to like, this is it. I'm learning. I'm done.
This is awesome. I hope maybe send it to Wyatt so that he can turn it into like a hype intro. Like he can edit it to make it as cool as possible.
I like it. Yeah, I might have to do that. Might send it. Hey, Canucks, you looking for someone to play the wing? I don't know. Anyways. All right. Let's go to anyone else, which is a presentation of our friends at Pacific Toyota Dealers and the Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid, a no-compromise approach to electric vehicles that offers the best of both worlds. Drive up to 72 kilometers on battery alone, enough to get you from downtown to the rink, the grocery store, and home to recharge. Seamlessly transition from electric mode to the gas engine for a combined range of 962 kilometers. There's no sacrifices when it comes to horsepower or style with its sleek, low, and wide exterior and sophisticated interior. It's loaded with tech that's actually easy to use. Plug in to recharge at home or at one of the over 2,000 public charging stations in BC alone. And now you can lease a 2026 Prius plug-in hybrid SE from $109 weekly at 3.99% APR for 64 months with $3,300 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Pacific Toyota dealer today. All right. I don't have much for anyone else, to be completely honest with you. I was going to talk about the Kadri stuff. I was going to talk about the Panarin stuff, but we already got to that. So for Thursday, it's a good time for me to remind everybody about Prime Coast to Coast. The Whip Around show starts at 4 o'clock. You want to watch a bunch of hockey on a busy NHL slate tonight, I suggest Coast. It's on your Amazon Prime subscription, Prime Video, coast to coast. It's awesome. I do this for free, by the way. This isn't like they're not paying me to say this. I just think a lot of people don't know about it, and it's a really good way for hockey fans to watch games that are either typically blacked out or just get to watch as many games as possible. I really like it.
Yeah, it's a great call. I also have something for anyone else. The Athletic today, courtesy of James Merrill, did a ranking of all 32 arenas in the NHL. And it was a composite ranking that included a fan survey, and the fans voted on location, amenities, atmosphere, and affordability. Affordability is an important one. And then there was also a panel of beat writers that have been to basically all the buildings in the league that weighed in as well. So a combination of the writers and the fan voting. I don't know if you saw it. Did you see it? Where would you guess the Canucks ranked?
Like Rogers Arena? And I'm sorry,
Rogers
am
Arena.
I guessing based on everything about Rogers Arena?
Yeah, so the location, the affordability, that's an important one. The amenities, so concourse, concession, parking.
Like 30th. I'm saying Rogers Arena.
Pretty close, 29th.
Okay.
I actually thought that was a little bit harsh because now, if I look at the Rogers Arena ranking specifically, they graded 31st in atmosphere, and I think that's just a product of the team being bad. Rogers Arena's
wrong. Like, look
when
at the playoffs, man. Look at the playoffs.
It's true that the atmosphere hasn't been great lately, but that's because the team's bad. Graded 31st for affordability, so that caused them to plummet down the standings. Location earned them 12th. That was by far the best score that they received, and honestly,
it should have been
a little
higher,
bit higher.
It really should have been higher.
And amenities was 26th. I actually was a little bit like, I think 29th is a little bit harsh for Rogers Arena. I expected it to be in the bottom half of the league, but I expected somewhere between like 18th to 24th, maybe, because Rogers Arena is getting up there in age, but the Jumbotron that they upgraded a couple of years ago is very nice. The updated seats, I think those are a couple of critical upgrades. So thought 29th was a little bit harsh.
Does it include ice quality?
No.
Okay.
I think it's from a fan perspective, right? Not a player perspective.
Bell Center was number one, which hands down 100% agree.
Yeah,
it's the coolest rink I've ever been to, and even higher than MSG. There's just something so special about watching hockey in Montreal. And when I went to Montreal to cover a game there, it was when the Habs were bad. This was during their rebuilding years. I want to say maybe like 2022 or something. I can only imagine how sick it is to be at the Bell Center for a Habs game now that the team is actually good and has Huts. And I mean, they already had Suzuki and Caulfield back then when I saw them, but also Demidov, Slavkovsky, and man, I can only imagine the playoff atmosphere as well.
Where did Rogers Place land? Edmonton.
That I'll look it up right now.
So
Oilers rank
Rogers Place.
11.
For those of you who haven't been there, it's like it is the biggest like building that I've ever been in for an arena. Like the concourse in Rogers Place is almost as big as Rogers Arena. Like there's other buildings attached to it, and
it's a shopping mall.
Yeah, like it's essentially a shopping mall. It's a great way to put it. Like the atrium. It's like you're inside of an arena looking over at the actual arena all under the same roof. It was one of the craziest like feelings I've ever had being inside an arena.
They have a dedicated practice rink inside the building, like outside of the actual ice that they use for games. It's massive. They got dinged because of affordability. Every other category they ranked top 10 in.
Did you see that other ranking that said the Oilers are like the third most profitable sports team in North America?
Really? No, I didn't see that.
Hold on. Let me look it up and let me actually source it properly. I got sent it from a few people. Okay, yeah. It was from the boardroom boardroom, sports, business, entertainment, looks like magazine, blog, I don't know. I saw it on social media. They posted it. World's most profitable sports team. Dallas Cowboys number 1. And again, this is taking operating costs and net revenue, right? And the subtraction. Dallas Cowboys 629 million. Golden State Warriors 409 million. Edmonton Oilers tied for third at 244 million, but they're tied with the LA Rams. The next hockey team doesn't show up until tied for ninth, the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are tied with the Houston Rockets. Then you've got the Rangers at 13th, and then there's no other hockey team on there. You've got some NFL teams, NBA teams, and then Arsenal as well, whatever that is. I'm just kidding. I know what Arsenal is. But yeah, the Edmonton Oilers, number 3 on that list.
I'm shocked to hear that, honestly, because Edmonton's it's a much smaller market than Toronto, for example.
Lots of disposable income out there.
But don't they gouge everybody too?
Yeah, they charge.
That's why the affordability is bad. That's what I'm saying.
Like I was there once. I was actually there. I wasn't even there for a hockey game. I was there for a WWE event. And I remember like we were sitting in kind of like one of the premium sections, and I went out to get some food, and the concession prices, they were more expensive than Rogers Arena concession prices.
It's like $56 for a burger and fries.
It was like, I think we got like popcorn, chicken, fries, and a drink, and paid almost $40 for it.
That's crazy. So there you go. That's why they're the third most profitable team. Owner Quads loves this idea, by the way, just to be clear. What if we made a cheeseburger cost $50? I bet our profit would go way up.
Before we move off of it, I'm sure Harmon is going to have the highest number here, but how many NHL arenas have each of you guys been to?
19.
Harm's at 19. Quads, just Rogers Arena and Rogers Place.
Yeah.
So like it's tough. Like I've been to 8, but I've only seen hockey games in 3 of them. Actually, I've only seen hockey games in 2 of them because I saw WWE in Edmonton. But yeah, Harm, of the ones you've been to, like, what would you rank your top 3?
So Bell Center, number 1 by far. I would say, I think so. It's funny. T-Mobile Arena was second. That's actually second on my list as well, especially because there are so many other things about the Vegas experience where you can go in November or December and it's an escape from the crappy weather here. It's still sunny out there, and so you can hang out by the pool. And just the game presentation that the Golden Knights have, that's one of the arenas where you want to be there 40 minutes before puck drop, because their whole pregame intro and like they make it a whole show. So I'd recommend them. I'd say so MSG is really cool. You walk into that building and you can there's something about the feeling of just knowing the history of everything that's happened there, and it's been upgraded. They've had renovations there, but I'd say since the Rangers are on the downswing now, it was a quieter building when I went there. They're only allowed when the Rangers are legitimately good, and now that they're in a rebuilding phase, and especially with how expensive it is out there, and even factoring in New York's on the East Coast and it's far from Vancouver, I don't think I'd necessarily recommend that if you're a Canucks fan, even though MSG is really cool. I'd say Bridgestone Arena is underrated too. It's right on the Broadway Strip. That's probably the best location for an arena, where as soon as you can eat before the game, a lot of restaurants in that area. You can go to the game, and then right after the game as well, you got all the bars you want on the Strip. And cool part about going out of Nashville is there are no lines, no covers anywhere. It's such a cool experience. So yeah, I'd say those are 3 of my favorites.
Nice. What do you mean there's no line and no cover? What do you mean?
Like when you're going out to bars.
Well, no, I know that. Yes, but how are they able to accomplish that?
I don't know.
The point of that is that there's too many people.
Yeah, well, I think part of it is also a marketing kind of, or maybe not marketing, but people have looked into this where a lot of bars and clubs in North America will intentionally create lines to make that spot seem more popular and more exclusive. Whereas I think in Nashville doesn't really do that. Sure, you'll see lines, but the thing is, you'll see a long line in Nashville and you'll hop into the back of that line and you'll be in within 5 minutes. There's no standing around waiting for 30 minutes to an hour, at least the times that I've gone. And honestly, a couple of years ago, I was in Nashville like 3 or 4 times in a span of 12 months. I legitimately did the math, and I think I spent a whole month of the year in Nashville between the Canucks playoff series there, the draft in Nashville, and I also did a regular season trip there for the Athletic as well.
This idea of fake lines and we're gonna make you stand outside in the cold so that we look pop. This is why I don't leave my house. Like, my goodness. All right.
But honestly, Quaz, you got to get out to more rinks, man.
Yeah.
Rinks. Yeah. I thought you were gonna tell me clubs. I was about to push back hard.
So I got my list here. So actually, I have seen games in 3. I've seen games, obviously, Vancouver, Seattle, Vegas. And then I've also been inside of the Saddle Dome in Calgary, Bell Center, Scotiabank Arena, Rogers Place. And I've been to the Honda Center when I went to an Angels game. Because they share a parking lot. We just popped into the Honda Center. So I've been to 8 NHL arenas.
My least favorite.
Ed just asked, what's your worst barn you've ever been to?
Oh, Prudential Center. Dude, it's too large. It's too cavernous, especially if attendance is poor for a game, which I think the Devils were slated to miss the playoffs that year. And it just felt hollow being inside that rink. Literally on the way there too, I ran into a fan who said he purchased a ticket for $3. Literally $3 on the resale market. That's a little demand there was for that game. And also just Newark, the city, is pretty sketchy. I'm not gonna lie. It's not, especially if you spent the week in Manhattan, which when the Canucks do Rangers, Devils, and Islanders, I'll usually just stay in Manhattan and commute to each of those spots rather than getting separate hotels. And once you get used to the Manhattan being here for a few days, and then you have to make the trek out there, it feels pretty sketchy. So that's probably the worst place to go and watch a game that I've gone to. Honestly, though, Canadian Tire Center is pretty brutal as well. And it's all because of location. And CTC is actually Ottawa's building was ranked 32nd in this exercise. Imagine if the Canucks played at a building on the side of Highway 1, right? It's
Langley Event Center.
In the middle. Yeah, it's out in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing around it. It's literally you take an exit off the highway. It's a large plot of land and nothing around it. The atmosphere was bad in that game too. Not many fans there, and there were, I think, louder cheers when the Canucks were scoring than when the Sens were scoring. It was bad.
Rajcraft said Harm's slowly darkening room in Nashville was a classic show. That was so funny. I forgot about that. That was great, where we just could see you less and less as the show went on, the sunset, and you had no light in your room. That was great. That was really funny. All right. I don't think I have anything else for you. Yeah, I don't have anything else. You?
No, also, I'll always hate the crypto.com arena because their security is the worst in terms of actually letting you into the building as a reporter. The number of times I've had issues getting in, even though I have my credential on me, is just insane.
They've wronged you too many times. I like that. All right. Busy NHL slate tonight. Whoa, is every team playing tonight? Hold on. No, Columbus and Chicago play tomorrow. They're the only teams not playing, it looks like. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah, 15 games. Wait, no. I don't know. It's busy, okay? There's a lot of teams playing hockey tonight. Our bet tonight, it is the looking for a home underdog. Ooh, the Canucks fall under that category, but we're not touching that. We're going to go with... Yeah. We're going to go with, I like this. Last night, it was Islanders-Rangers. Tonight, it's Islanders Rangers. The Islanders got the best of the Rangers last night. But how will it go tonight? I think the Rangers are going to have a bit of a response here tonight. Rangers are home underdogs at plus 120 odds. You can get that at Bet365, whatever your bet is. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get on the game. Use the code NATION at Bet365. Must be 19 plus play. If you choose to play, please play responsibly. All right, we'll wrap it up there, folks. Canucks, Ducks tonight. We'll be back tomorrow to break it all down. For my co-host Harman Dialer and technical producer Jacob Bazar, my name is Dave Gujalli. Thanks so much for the episode of Canucks Conversation. Canucks Conversation is live Monday through Friday, every weekday at 2 p.m. over on the Canucks Army YouTube channel. Make sure you like, subscribe, and interact in the YouTube live chat every day with us, folks.